Thank you so much for joining us Wednesday. I hope you're in a warm place because it is pretty chilly and rainy outside. But, you know, you're running for land commissioner, one of the many different um, positions that people will be voting on this upcoming election. And I just want to get right to it. Why land commissioner?
Well, good morning, first of all, and thank you for having me. Um, the reason I chose to run for this position is after looking at this office, it affects my everyday life and most Texans' lives, and nobody knows about this position. Um, when we started looking at the office, I had a little bit of knowledge about the Veterans Land Board, very limited because I had a loan years ago, and then I started looking at the office. It takes care of education. It takes care of a Veterans Land Board, disaster relief, and the coast, the Alamo. My wife's been in education for 20 years. I served in the Marine Corps, 2 tours in Iraq, and it's a disservice that people don't know about such an important office. It's actually the oldest office in Texas government, and uh, and it's a disservice to the people that nobody knows or understands what this office does, because there's so much that it can do for the everyday Texan, yet it's kept in the dark. And by doing that, they're not held responsible. They're not held accountable for this office. So I decided to run to try to bring some transparency to this office. For the same reason I joined the military, I've been serving people for my whole adult life, so I want to continue to do that.
Well, I want to say thank you for your service right out the gate, of course. But let's talk more about your background. Let's talk about, of course, you were born in Mexico, you moved here to the U.S. I want to ask you about your lived experiences and how they've shaped you, especially when moving from Mexico to the U.S.
Absolutely. So my parents brought me here when I was in fifth grade. I'm the middle child of five. My two older brothers went straight to work, and the three younger ones stayed in school. I helped my parents. I helped my parents while we are in Mexico to get money to come to the states. We moved into an abandoned apartment. I worked the fields fifth, sixth grade. I worked at a meat packing plant the summers. I've actually, running through this campaign, I've actually realized that I have never not worked a summer in my life. Um, so they brought us here. We integrated into a very immigrant community here in Cactus, Texas, up in the Panhandle, where it's super cold right now. Um, and I played high school sports here, football and wrestled. And after 9/11 happened, I decided to join the Marine Corps. Um, I believe so much in this country that even at the time I was not a citizen, I decided to join because I felt it was my duty to make sure that I did my part in making sure this country stayed what it was, and continue to be the greatest country in the world for everybody coming here and that's here already. Um, did 2 tours in Iraq. I actually became a citizen of the United States while in country. They found out a couple of us were not citizens, so they found some JAG officers. We did our paperwork, became a citizen, came back home after the first deployment, started my family, married my wife, had a kid, did another deployment, missed my daughter's whole second year of life. Came back, got a job at an oil refinery here, started getting involved in organized labor through United Steelworkers at my refinery. After a couple of years, I got the opportunity to go to leadership school. It's a 4-year program that the United Steelworkers put on. Graduated that program. I was offered a job as a staff representative for United Steelworkers, and honestly, it was a really tough choice because it was a substantial pay cut going from gas and oil to staff representative. But me and my wife sat down and talked about it being. She was like, Jose, this is what you love doing. Do you want a job or do you want a purpose? And ended up coming and getting on with the steel workers. And I've been representing people all over Texas, from Dumas, Texas, where I live, all the way to McAllen, Corpus Christi, San Antonio, parts of Oklahoma. And I also run a veterans program for the union called Veterans of Steel, and that's in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. I've been lobbying for veterans' rights for the last 8 to 10 years, and lobbying for working class people all over the state capital and in DC. So um, this office just fit with who I am and what I do and what I really care about. It's always been used as a stepping stone into politics. That's why it's been kept in the dark. So I have no intention. I'm not a politician. I don't consider myself a politician. I'm an everyday, you know, very humble person that comes from a very humble upbringing, and I want to help people. I want to continue to do what I do, just at a larger scale, and have the opportunity to help public education and veterans and disaster relief and everything else that this office takes care of. It's surprising that people don't know about this office. I've been in rooms of 200 people, and usually two out of every 100 people that I'm in a room with will know a little bit about the land office, but not very much at all. So it's a very important office, very important office for Texas. Yet nobody knows about it.
I want to go back to a few things and dive a little bit deeper. You had mentioned that you were involved in organized labor through the United Steelworkers Union. Tell me more about what encouraged you to get involved in organized labor.
Absolutely. I watched my parents, my family, my community. I watched everybody struggle, and essentially, with Texas being a right to work state, which is a biggest misconception to the everyday working person, but essentially working without representation. And when I had the opportunity to understand what organized labor was, because I didn't know anything about organized labor, never been part of organized labor, but when I started getting involved, I started seeing that the union is the only protection that people really have, and and that's what really got me involved is negotiating good contracts for people and benefits and working conditions and safety and everything else, and also making those wrongs that the corporate greed does, making them right through arbitration and grievance procedures and board charges and things like that. So that's what got me. That's what got the passion in me, just trying to help people like my community and the people that I grew up around.
And you also mentioned that not a lot of people know what a land commissioner is. Let's clear that up. Let's explain exactly what that position does for the state of Texas.
Absolutely. So the Texas Land Commissioner takes care of over 13 million acres of public land in Texas. It's they lease the land to for oil exploration. They lease the land for mineral rights, for wind rights, for land use, all those different things. And that revenue that it creates from leasing the land goes into the public school fund, which is which then gets invested, and what comes out of that goes into the available school fund that funds all of public education in Texas. Every school that's a public school, it gets funded by that's it's one of the biggest contributors to funding education. It also funds Texas A&M and University of Texas. And aside of that, it when disaster hits, like in the Panhandle, when we have the fires, tornadoes, freezes, to the floods in Central Texas and hurricanes on the coast, it gets the money that the federal government allocates, and it distributes that money and to whoever needs it. It's supposed to go to whoever needs it. Unfortunately, it hasn't been the case. There's lawsuits going on right now from Hurricane Harvey where people did not get any relief, and it, uh, it's been weaponized and given to the communities that politically align with the office or where donors are instead of where the need is. Aside of that, it takes care of the Alamo Trust, and not so much. It oversees the Alamo, but it takes care of the Alamo Trust, making sure that everything runs smooth there, and all the financials for the Alamo, and also takes care of 3,700 miles of coast from Mexico, from the Mexican border all the way to Louisiana, and they're the first ones to respond when there's an oil spill on the coast from any industry. They take care, make they take care of the erosion prevention. They take care of the public beaches. They take care of the whole coast. And then, like I said, the part that got me interested at first was the Veterans Land Board. It's a program by Texas for Texas veterans that gives out home loans, land loans. It takes care of the veteran cemeteries and the veteran assisted facilities in Texas. Less than 7% of Texas veterans uh, utilize these programs because nobody knows about it. Uh, every time I talk about it, I'll have a group of veterans come up to me and ask me for more information about the Veterans Land Board, and that's a disservice because that the Veterans Land Board doesn't even take from tax money. It's a self-funding program, but it's at a much better rate. You still pay your loans back, but it's at a much better rate, and it's way underutilized because nobody knows about it.
I want to go now into your platform. Let's dive into that. Starting off with worker safety. In your view, how are current laws and regulations falling short or holding up to standards when keeping our workers safe here in Texas?
Well, we got a long ways to go. We are a state that unfortunately takes care of corporate interest and not the working people. There was a, I'm sure most people are aware of the law that passed, uh, I believe last year, where a construction company doesn't have to provide water or water breaks for their people. Essentially, getting treated, in Texas, if you leave a dog out without water, you can get fined for it, but yet you don't have any laws that protect an employee from having water available or a water break at that. We got a long ways to go. We need people that are responsible, that hold companies accountable. I come from a gas and oil industry, and I understand how hard it is, to work at those places because it's so dangerous. And it's not just dangerous for the people there, but for the communities around these places. And for far too long, we've had we've had corporate interests instead of workers' interest in Texas, and we have to change that.
Making our way over now to energy. What is your view on renewable energy, and where do you think we stand as Texas, a state, on renewable energy?
Absolutely. I think so. Renewable energy, I am not against at all. I believe in Texas, especially with our power grids. Everybody's seen it, and we're probably going to see it again this week. We don't have enough power. We're not at a point where we can say, "Oh, we're going to get away from fossil fuels." Texas Texas economy, a lot of its economy comes from fossil fuels, and renewable energy needs to be utilized where it fits. Smart. We need to put it in smart places. But there's plenty of places, especially on public land, where we can have windmills that generate power and put into the grid. I was actually made aware by one of the IBEW members that there's windmills already on public land that are up and they're built and everything. They're just not hooked up to the power grid because our current commissioner won't give them an isthmus to hook up power. So we got renewable energy that could be supplementing the grid, and that's what we need. We need to work both, and we need to have my view on energy is strong, responsible oil and smart renewables where they make sense.
Moving on now, your website says that we can keep the energy industry strong while generating revenue to fund our public schools, aid in disaster recovery, and protect our coastlines. How does that all work together?
So, like I said, the leases of the land, that's what generates most of the money for the public schools. So we gotta be able to lease the land at a good rate, at a fair market price instead of sweetheart deals. We got to try to get the best bang for our buck on the public land because that land belongs to Texas and Texas residents. So that's how it all ties in.
before we wrap everything up here, is there anything that you would like our viewers to know about you as a candidate for land commissioner?
Absolutely. First of all, thank y'all for the opportunity. Um, I want to work for the people. I want to work this office for what it is. I have no aspirations of higher politics. I want to do my job. I want to treat it like the military service. I want to do my job, get in there, help, make it better, and hopefully pass it on to somebody that cares just as much about everything. So my website's joseloya.com. I would appreciate any support. It's time to get real people in these offices that care about the people and that aren't about corporate interests. We got to put our people first because that's who we're responsible for. And for far too long, we've had politics that care about industries and not the working people. And that's the difference that I bring here. Lived experience, um, a real person that knows the struggles. I know what it's like to choose between having to keep the lights on or feed, buy good food for the family. So that's what I bring to this office, and I hope I can get everybody's support.